Hi. Well, it was an exciting day 53 in Business and Labor this morning. We heard three bills, one on mortgages, one on sacramental wine, and one on privacy and data. The sacramental wine bill would allow churches who use wine as part of their sacrament to obtain it easier. The distributors right now are the only way for these churches to get their sacramental wine, and the distributors came in and said, we are not making any money off of this. Let's just cut us out of this as the middle person and help these churches get this wine that's only used as sacrament. And the same folks that I talked about yesterday as being guided by their faith and decisions that they make regarding alcohol said that there is no way they're going to vote for this bill. They're absolutely against it because the clergy members will be abusing this and they'll just be buying tons and tons of this wine to drink for themselves. The Right to Know Act was really similar to the House Bill 400. In fact, I looked it up, and a lot of the language is even exactly the same language. This one's carried by a Democrat, the other one was carried by a Republican, and I made fun of it the first time, and perhaps shouldn't have. I realized that data and privacy are really important to a lot of people. This is definitely a very toned down, much more reasonable version of it. I spent some time working on my speed limit law that I was working with a Republican representative on. I prepared my testimony. The votes online weren't recorded, and so I had to go try to figure out who had voted no in committee. I spent some time watching the footage of the committee hearing so I could remember what was said and who supported it. I called my friend Mike Dodo of Butte and talked to him about his story and his reason for requesting it, and all of that time that I put in really helped. When it came to the House floor, it passed 56 to 43, so kind of squeaked out, but definitely enough to move it on to the Senate. So maybe we'll get one more bill passed yet. I also spent some time preparing testimony in opposition to Senate Bill 23, a bill that is big government telling localities that they can't protect property owners. It's always interesting in the Republican Party, two key pieces of their platform are personal or private property rights and supporting business. And when those two platform agenda items come up against each other, I have yet to see the private property owner, the person, win. It's never in the person's favor. So on the House floor, first up, we had two tax bills totaling about $52 million that go to business. The first one was really well intended, and I think it passed, but it's not necessarily the best way to do this. It had to do with the business equipment tax, but only on pollution monitoring equipment. Not the worst bill in the world. And the second bill just straight gives a tax break on the corporate tax rate. And so you and I and every other taxpayer in Montana that works for a living and pays taxes all have ideas of what we want this money to be spent on. And somehow, through the election process, folks have been elected who don't agree with us and don't think that the money that we are paying in taxes should be spent the way we want it to be. And so they're giving it back to corporations. If you were watching the House floor today, you saw someone stand up against my House Bill 542 and was basically mean to me, said that I didn't know what I was talking about and that it was a bad bill and it was a worse bill than the last one I brought. And I didn't respond to him in my closing because there was no way that I was going to be able to be nice about it. And I didn't even know how to respond to someone who basically personally attacks you and what you do for a living on the House floor. It was really, really uncalled for. And you might want to go watch the video on House Bill 542 from the floor session today. And keep in mind that this man is a fireman who is standing up and attacking this math teacher because she wants to protect him when he's working on the highway. Sorry. In local government, the bills were interesting, kind of more of the same, but the most interesting thing that happened was my seatmate in local government facetiously asked me to sign on to a bill that he's going to be introducing that requires drug use survey, and then based on the response, a drug test for anyone who applies for governmental assistance. So food stamps or any other kind of government assistance would fill out a survey asking them whether or not they had a drug use problem, and then require them to take a drug test before they could get food. I hope you can see the issues with that. I'll talk about them more when the bill comes out. And he said it with a straight face. He really thinks this is a great idea. Thanks for all the messages. I can see from my email that you are calling and emailing about the bills we talk about in the videos, and it does my heart good to see that people are paying attention and getting involved. You guys are doing a great job, and I think that this has never been done before. We're actually having kind of a grassroots movement to tell the legislature how we feel and telling us to represent our common Montana values. It's fun to see, and thank you very much for all of your hard work and for watching these videos. See you tomorrow.